Hello and welcome to Resincrafting with chriscollected, and on today's episode we're going to continue to use the Desert Rain epoxy resin along with my new thermochromatic powder from Let's Resin. The two colors we'll be using is purple pink and dark green lime. I'm going to be using a two-part, so I'll be filling up to 2 and then up to 4. This Desert Rain epoxy is actually a little bit thicker, while the hardener seems to be very thin. But mixed together, it makes a wonderful product. Alright, now stir that resin on up. I have noticed that my resin comes out with a lot more bubbles than other resin crafters, and I've looked into it and realized that I'm stirring a little too fast. Now we're going to separate the resin into 2 smaller cups so that I can add the pigment into each one. To be honest with you, I don't really know the difference between a powder and a pigment, and so you will hear me use those words interchangeably. However, if there is a difference, make sure to put that in the comments below. This is the house of improvements, not the house of perfect. I'm always looking to improve. Make sure to get all the resin out of your containers. Also, I'm trying a new 200 speed instead of 300 speed. Tell me what you think. First up, we have the pink and purple. It will be purple when it is cold, and thermochromatic powder, when it is heated, it changes color. In fact, when it was delivered to me, I actually live in Arizona, and it was so hot that all of the pigments were in their second color. Now they've cooled down a bit, now they're in their first color. Make sure to check out my TikTok, where I will be doing some videos of heating up this and seeing what happens. This blue glitter from Stuart Semple, who owns a company called Cultural Hustle. This glitter is where I got that from, and it is absolutely amazing glitter. It's really a unique shade of blue. Alright, now let's mix those in. I decided to put the blue glitter into both of them, but I think in the future I might try to do blue with blue, green with green, etc. Even though contrast can look good, I think sometimes looking the same can look good as well. Put in the comments below what kind of color combos you would like me to do. Okay, now that it's all mixed in, let's go ahead and start pouring. These bottom 3 molds are all smoothies, and the top 3 are all coffee cups. And so I'm gonna do a strawberry type smoothie for the bottoms, and then more of like a green tea matcha for the top 3. make sure to check out my Patreon if you would like to see additional content or tell me about any kind of improvements that you would like to see in my videos. That is Patreon.com/hofirugs. Rugs, fabric, resin, and so much more. As these are the first time I'm using these molds, I ended up over pouring a few of them, including this one. But that's alright, I'll improve in the future. For this cat mold, I decided to do a two-part tie-dye, with the bottom half being green and the top half being purple. It came out really well. Make sure to stay to the end and see all of the photos and videos of the demolding. Okay, a little bit of a story for you. So, I have already edited this video one time. However, my power shut out and I ended up having to redo the entire video. But it's alright because the reason why it was being shut off is because they were putting my new meter for my new solar power. So now in the future I will have hopefully less of an electric bill and be generating some power with solar panels. As you can see in those three pink ones, the amount of bubbles is just ridiculous. I really over stirred this really badly. But it still turned out really well. Just with a lot of little micro bubbles in it. Normally I would cut this part out as I switch around my table, but I wanted to show you guys in this video that you can in fact move these molds around. You just gotta be very careful. Because I wanted the mandala in the middle there so it would look the best, but at the same time I had to move everything else out of the way to be able to accomplish that. But it was worth it in the end. For this mandala, I've decided to pour in the purple into the center and fill the entire thing with it, instead of doing a tie-dye like I did with the cat. And instead, I'm going to do a different type of tie-dye for this one, where I'm going to end up pouring the green directly into the middle. In the future videos, I will try this technique a few different ways. I'm going to try it by waiting 10 minutes, waiting 30 minutes, waiting an hour, and kind of seeing what happens when you fill the mold. And I know if you wait 24 hours, it will harden completely, and you can just do multiple layers. And so we'll show that off as well in the future too. But we're always trying to experiment here and see what kind of fun we can have with our art. Doing this technique will mix these two colors together. So let's see what happens in the future when I wait a little longer. So make sure to subscribe so you can see all those future videos. Okay, now let's pop those numerous bubbles. I'm not as fast as some other resin artists, and so I prefer to use this long neck lighter. It doesn't heat up my resin too much and doesn't heat up my silicone molds too much either. It's at this point I realized I have a lot of little micro bubbles that are stuck to the side walls. And so you can use any kind of tool really that's thin enough to get into that border and go around and try to move those little bubbles that are stuck onto the side wall. Move them to the top so that way I can pop them. And these molds really had a lot of little crevices, and so I ended up having to do the entire thing twice. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris Collected. I'm a queer, subversive artist specializing in digital and physical media. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and support my art in the future. Thank you so much. Make sure to stick around and watch the demolding video for the mandala, and photos of the rest of the molds. Goodbye. So this is the result of our experiment with the mandala. As you can see, the green is still very concentrated in the center. Whoa, that turned out so well. Now, the nice part about using the same glitter in both is that it looks like one big piece now. And as you can see, the outside is still very pink, while the inside is still very green, with a lot of blue glitter. And I do mean a lot.
1, 2, 3, 4.
In the future, we're going to paint some of these, and so we can really see that mandala stand out. Now, I had already tested to see the one of them of each to make sure that they looked good, and so we're just going to demold the other 4. Again, these ones will really pop once we paint them. So make sure to subscribe and check out that future video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.